Hey, hey, hey! Welcome to the Shi-Fi podcast, episode 6. Episode 6. So, we're starting this back up. I haven't recorded an episode since October. That's so bad. So, here we go. New things are happening with this podcast. New things. I'm going to start being more consistent. I'm going to start maybe having other people on my podcast. I'm trying. I've got some people, 2 to 3. Just, for other people, and they're like great friends of mine. So it'll be like really funny and like just cool talking things. I have everything. Like, I have access to be on Spotify, all the platforms, YouTube. So I just need to get more consistent, and this is fun. It's just talking. It's just a podcast. It's not like we're not supposed to overthink this. So new things are happening. I'm gonna start. This is a huge I say this, but this is a huge I know this. I don't know if I'm gonna meet these expectations, but maybe I'm gonna try to maybe do a podcast every week. I know that's going to be hard. That's so hard. I was shooting for a podcast a month last year. I know that's going to be super hard to do. So we're just going to see. We're just going to see how it goes. My goal is because 2020 is about to happen. 2020, if you don't have a podcast by 2020, then what are you doing? What are you doing? You know what I mean? It's like when people say they're a YouTuber. It's like, well, everybody's a YouTuber. Like, everybody can YouTube. Like, it's not that hard to do. Like in 2009, let's say 2009, you said you're a YouTuber. You were looked on as like, okay, cool. Have fun. If you say that now, it's just kind of a joke and kind of a meme, oh, you're a YouTuber. Oh, that's cool. Congrats. And everybody always talks about, oh, they're gonna start this YouTube channel. It's gonna be amazing, and it's just 5% of the time that person follows through. I've seen that countless times, and I don't want to call myself a YouTuber, but I am a very consistent just YouTuber. And it's for fun. I'm not trying to make it a job. It's strictly a hobby for me, and I've been I have 1,500 subscribers. That's pretty good. And I have 250,000 YouTube video. So, I'm in the game. I'm the 12th man. Hey, it's fun. I'm in the game. I'm there. So, how this goes. I always put this on my YouTube channel, too. Just because of it. Just for fun. And, I'm not going to look at the camera for YouTube people. Because I'm really focused more on the audio part, the podcast. I don't care what I look like. But yeah, so those are the new things that are going to happen. I'm going to go try for an average of 30 to 40 minutes a podcast. Just what I've been kind of doing lately. Maybe the shorter, the better consistent I can get. And so, and so, with 2 or 3 more people, I found a way where I can... this was my biggest thing, though. In making a podcast with other people, it is so hard if you don't live by each other. Which I've come to find out. And so, I've been trying, for the longest time, trying to find, a video conference call thing... application where I can record meetings, interviews, calls, record the screen, and so it can make for an audio, and it just be so much easier. So I can have 3 people that aren't in the same room to so basically a Skype thing. But Skype, you need a third party accessory, and I was having so much trouble with that. And then the other day, I found out I know that there's this application called Zoom, and I've used it for a couple times for job interviews, and I did not realize it, but you can record interviews with that. So maybe when I was on these interviews with Zoom, they were like recording me as well. So I found that out. I was like, okay, this is something that I can work with. So I was very happy with that. Very happy to find out that. So yeah, so I have 2 to 3 friends of mine. I have 2 friends that say they're going to do the podcast, but I don't know. I've tried. I've tried. I tried last week. I texted them saying do y'all want to do a podcast, or when do y'all want to do a podcast? But they didn't text me back. So I'm like, all right, cool. Then I'll do this one solo. So just trying to have them more, and I mean, if I can get 2 to 3 more people that are consistent with me and stuff, we don't have to call it the Shi-Fi podcast. We can maybe call it I don't know, the Three's a Gang or podcast. I don't know. So I'm just trying to start something. I'm trying to go into 2020 with a consistent podcast, and so that's what I'm trying to do. And so with all that being said, welcome to the Shi-Fi podcast, episode 6. Episode 6. It's good. It's good to have the episode 6. And with podcasts, I've noticed a couple of people that have started podcasts. It's becoming almost going to be the new YouTuber in 5 years, where oh, I'm starting a podcast, but then they'll fade off and then not do it anymore. So just be consistent, and I don't know. That's all I gotta say. So yeah, I saw a friend of mine. This kind of actually relates to my next topic I was going to talk about, was Nipsey Hussle, the rapper that got shot, passed away a couple weeks ago. So there's this one guy I know, or a couple people I know actually. They started these conspiracies and stuff with the Nipsey Hussle shooting, which I understand because of the whole Nipsey was starting this movie about the AIDS cure. I don't know much about it, but I'm it's interesting how the shooting lined up with the movie that was going to cure AIDS, or show people about it. I don't know, but these couple people are really into that, and they started this podcast solely because I guess this was their breaking point, and they're just I need to talk about this somehow, and so they talked about it. But what's funny is this guy started this podcast, talked about it, and then there hasn't been an episode since. So that's what I'm talking about with some of these podcast people. They just get so wrapped up, they put all their energy into this one topic that they're really passionate about, and then they just lose interest. I'm just nah, man, podcast, you gotta do it consistently. Talk about all the topics. Talk about topics you don't like, topics you do like, and it's just kind of all around thing. So podcast is taking over radio. I'm starting to listen to podcasts. Ugh, my old self. There's days where I'm just I'd rather listen to. There's been a lot of time. There's been lots of times this year where I've wanted to listen to podcasts better, more than music, which is really weird of me. And I'm just am I just becoming old, or is that kind of the trend? So I don't know. And I have seen that Spotify and Apple are picking up podcasts, they're signing them, as if they're a record label, a music record label, signing artists. So so I'm behind the ball a little bit. So that's why I'm just starting this. I'm really just you know what, I need to keep up with the times. I need to keep up with people, do my own thing. I listen to podcasts, so let's make podcasts and just pod. We're just podding around, all right? It is. There is 7 billion people, 8 billion people on this earth. Everybody can listen to a podcast. We can all share the glory, So yeah, man, I'm on my venting box bag. So Nipsey Hussle, man, R.I.P. Now Nipsey, I never listened to his music, but I respected him like crazy because, oh my god, I knew his background. I've known of him like throughout this decade because he's been that, what do you call it, like West Coast rapper that doesn't get much love like the YGs and Kendrick Lamar's, but he's always kind of like just been in the background. And then like he had a song with Drake, and that's like when I first knew him. I don't know how he got a Drake feature that early. He's just like that guy that's just been quiet but has been making moves, and especially with his last album being nominated for Rap Album of the Year, that's when I was like, Nipsey's about to kind of like blow up like at 33. I mean, he was pulling the 2 Chainz route of like rebranding, and so he definitely was going to have a crazy great upside. But man, it's just sad. Like 3 very well-known rappers have passed away in the last year. And when I say rapper, it's not even like that's the most popular music position, I guess. Like these guys, like especially with X, like XXX Tentacion, whatever. I've always had trouble with his name, but with X passing away, like that was definitely the most popular one because he was definitely like at least top 5 streaming artist. And when there's a song that comes out with him, which is kind of still weird, it's always hot on the hot playlist and stuff like that. So especially with Mac as well, Nipsey, man, it's just sad. Like these guys aren't just like rando rappers, like they're well-known rappers. Man, it's crazy. Like it's crazy. Like nominations for Rap Album of the Year, 2 of them passed away. Crazy with Mac. Like Mac and Nipsey were both nominated for Rap Album of the Year, and it's just sad, man. Just sad. It's bummy. I don't know what to make of this AIDS documentary. I don't know if he was just kind of saying that. I know he went on the Breakfast Club interview with Charlamagne talking about it and stuff, but I don't know how real it actually is. I saw Twitter reports, I'm not taking these for granted or not taking these like seriously, but apparently Nick Cannon is taking over the documentary. I'm just like, okay, like what's about to happen, so I don't know what he's gonna do about it. So I don't know. There's just so many kind of questions with them where I'm like, let's see what that happens. Let's see how that turns out. But I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen with that. But yeah. So RP Nip. There's a couple of friends of mine that were huge Nipsey fans. They're on like IG story all the time, like with this music, and they took it pretty bad, pretty hard. I would say out of all the 3 rappers that passed away, that was sad, was I would say Mac, but X, man, X was kind of tough. X was really tough because I don't know if you agree with his ways or not. I mean, yes, his ways were horrible. His assaults, his allegations. He was always trying to do better. He was always trying. He was always annoying people on IG, talking about love, 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 love is the way, love is better, love is... Like, he was always preaching to people, but he's also preaching to himself. And he was always trying to get better, always just working on himself. And he was like 17 years old, man. Like this era, is one of the first eras, of course, where like people were famous at 16, 17 as a rapper, like compared to like the young rappers, young legendary rappers, let's say young Chris Brown, 16, everybody knew him at 16. Young Lil Wayne, everybody knew him at 16. But like, you didn't know Pac at 16, really. You didn't know Biggie at 16. You didn't know Diddy at 16. You didn't really know Eminem at 16. You didn't know Jay-Z at 16. So this is the first decade where we've seen rappers at this young of an age, and of course they're gonna make bad mistakes. If there was a camera on Pac all the time when he was 15, of course they're gonna make bad mistakes. Doesn't justify it whatsoever. But all that to be said was like X was going forward. X was going to have a long, successful career. So that's what just kind of made me bummy. He was just so young. He was working on himself, and he just got shot. Just got messed around with the wrong crew. So yeah, I mean, that was probably the one that was toughest to digest. The Mac Miller one was also sad, of course. The part where like they didn't find out until the next day, because he was like still at the apartment for this house party apparently. That's so sad, man. And he just had released an album, man. So sad. Just makes me want to like just hop in my bed, just never like go out to the world. You know, just so many things that can just mess you up. Friends, drugs, people. You know, just people, man. People. But yeah, that's definitely just another sad moment. So yeah, that R.I.P. Nipsey. It's crazy. But also things happening. That was a bad transition. Also things happening today is Dirk's last game. It's happening tonight. I don't know when this podcast is going to be uploaded. Probably upload tomorrow for the day after. So, man, Dirk's last game. That's also sad too. Like, I don't know the Mavericks without Dirk. I legit don't know. It's so weird to me. It's so weird. Yeah, it's like, now what? It's like, it's basically gonna be Doncic is gonna be here for the next 20 years apparently. Like, that makes it better having Doncic. But man, like Dirk is easily the biggest athlete of all time for Dallas. You could make the case for all the 90s Cowboys, Troy Aikman, Emmett, and all them, but the fact that Dirk has been here for 21 years, like the football guys were here 10 years max, but Dirk has been here for 2 decades. So weird. From 99, 98. So weird. It hasn't super hit me yet. It's gonna hit me next summer or this summer when we're like, Dirk's not even on the roster. He's just like not there. You know, it's sad. It's sad and it's bittersweet. It's for his own good. He was limping around the court. It's better for him like this. But still, it's just hard to see. Hard to see, man. But it's so weird. And what I was like, what is it? 21st year. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like basketball was my favorite sport growing up. And then seeing Dirk. Dirk was always there. Dirk was always on the court. From the Nash Finley days to the Devin Harris days, Jason Kidd, Jason Terry, and then these guys, Doncic, Smith. He's always been there. And it's just like weird. And there's been like some conspiracies. Maybe they're going to retire his jersey tonight. That'd be really cool. That would be really cool. They just like, all right, we're just going to retire your jersey right now and not waste time. Which, It's also Wade's last game, which is also weird. Who would have thought Dirk and Wade would be retiring in the same year? Just the irony of all that. That 2011 run, awesome run. The 2006 run, awesome as well. Those are great years where I was just like, it's just like Dallas has never had much winning. And the heartbreak of from 2006 to 2010 in Dallas was just so sad. From the 06 choke job in the finals to the 07 Romo fumble thing in the playoffs to the next year after our finals choke for the Mavs, we get the 1 seed and then lose to the 8 seed Warriors. And then we lose back-to-back World Series with the Rangers. Those years were just sad. With 2011 beating Braun and Wade, like, we had no business beating them, but we did. Crazy. Like, there was no other way. Like, that was just so fitting. Such a fitting conclusion to Dirk's career. But man, it's all great. What else were we gonna say? Man, I love the NBA, man. I love it's starting. The playoffs are starting on Saturday. Woo! I love NBA playoffs so much. So much. I can't get enough of the NBA playoffs. I just can't. Can't inject it into my skin. But yeah, so I mean, leave it at that for Dirk. Like, Dirk. Sad. It'll be weird to see tonight watching it, but yeah, it'll be crazy. Let's talk about Lil Nas X. Old Town Road, Billy Ray Cyrus. That song is going to be the Billboard #1 song in the world this week. Or like next week when the like actual things come out. That is crazy. Lil Nas X, genius. I mean, not genius, but like, you can't hold down creative people. You cannot hold down creative people. You can't shut down creative people. When Lil Nas X, I mean, the song got big because it got rejected from the country charts, which that was definitely controversial. Because, I mean, it's a country song. It's technically a country song. And I can see it. But it does have a lot of 808s. So, I mean, you can make an argument from both. But the fact that Lil Nas was like, okay, y'all don't want me on country charts? I'm going to get a country icon just for y'all. Billy Ray Cyrus. Achy, achy, breaky heart thing guy. And Hannah Montana's dad. And Billy Ray Cyrus fits just the persona of this song. I'm trying to still figure it out why it's called Lil Nas X. What's the X for? And Lil Nas kind of is weird because of like Nas the rapper. So I'm like, Lil Nas. I was like, Lil Wayne, Lil Kendrick, Lil Drake. You know, it's just like interesting. That would like throw me off. But yeah, so Seven Rings is finally going to come off number one now. It's been number one for like so long. But Lil Nas X, who would have thought? 16-year-old rapper. I was watching something, his lyric breakdown of that song. His voice is exactly like the song. Like, most of the time, you can see, like, okay, wow, that voice was definitely, like, auto-tuned or, like, generated on the song. But, like, he straight up, like, he could probably record that on the phone and it'd be super close to the actual recording. Like, his voice was very impressive. Like, he's a straight up singer. Like, he's a straight up country singer. So, good for him. He's going to be... He's the definition of being different makes you different. Being creative. Knowing how to get through the box. Knowing how to get through. Yeah, so... good for him. I wonder, still don't know if, like, it isn't confirmed if he's actually on the country playlist, country, like, charts. But we'll see. We will see. But, other than that, what else do I gotta say? Let's wrap this up. The little Kyle Korver thing was interesting, I guess. The Kyle Korver Players Tribune article. Again, I don't know how much to say about this. You know, I saw Kyle Korver, like, his topic was privilege, and I was like, oh gosh, here we go. And so it's just your basic, like, racism, like, we need to do better. We do. I agree. And it's just like the same old. And so I saw a tweet. It was like, Kyle Korver, racism is bad. And then, like, everybody's just like, yeah, we're just all like high-fiving everybody. Like, it just showed like a video of just people high-fiving, like, yeah, and just, I mean, Kyle Korver's, it was just like literally any white person could have wrote that. And it's just, you know, same old. He did bring up a good point about how the more dangerous ones are not the public racist people, but the people that are privately racist or privately doing stuff that is kind of like weird. I do agree with that, but it's just gonna take some time. Like, again, that's a whole deep topic. But we definitely need to respect everyone, no matter who, culture, religion, people. I mean, that's just needs to be repetitive and said to be repetitive all the time. Like, there's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. So that's all I gotta say. But I mean, Kyle Korver was the right person. I'm just like kind of joking around when I'm like saying he was like racism is bad, but it was good because it was from the Jazz, like a Jazz player, and you know the whole thing with the Jazz, Russell Westbrook altercation, and with Jazz, like Utah being very predominantly white, like probably Jazz fans are the most white crowd, other than maybe the Celtics. I don't know, so just guessing on that part, but yeah, so we'll see about that. NBA playoffs. So yeah, so I'm gonna leave it at that. And so yeah, thank you for listening to the Shi-Fi podcast, episode 6. We're gonna keep things going. We're entering a new era with this podcast. And if you're not on this boat yet, then hop on, come for the ride, and we're gonna have some mighty good fun. So without further ado, thank you for listening, and enjoy your own ride. Peace.